Namaskar. Welcome to another episode of Editorial. Today is the 2nd of October. Three great people that I know were born today. And I'm going to talk about those three great people and some incidents of their lives. Let's get right into the show. So, the first person I'm going to talk about is, of course, Mahatma Gandhi. So, I have two stories to talk about Mahatma Gandhi today. Two stories. One actually is a story and another is a myth that I would like to break. The first story is something that is not on record. There is no record of this to the best of my knowledge. At least I tried to research. But this is a story that has been told to me by reliable sources. You see, Motilal Nehru, that is Jawaharlal Nehru's father, was not very kicked about the fact that, or thrilled about the fact that Gandhiji was almost guiding Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru's life. He was not very thrilled about the fact, and which father would? He was sent his son abroad. His son lived a lavish life and a great life, and here his son was following a fakir and a person who was guiding him to fight for the freedom of this country, possibly a very rough life, a very tough life. Which father would like? So he was also very concerned, and he said, yeah, this gentleman, this Mahatma Gandhi, who was almost his age, Motilal Nehru's age, Mahatma Gandhi was pretty older to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. So he said, where is this gentleman going to take my son to? I don't know. And like Motilal Nehru feared, Jawaharlal Nehru was jailed. And ironically, just before Jawaharlal Nehru was jailed, Jawaharlal Nehru had invited Mahatma Gandhi to his house. And Mahatma Gandhi was staying in one of the rooms in his house. After Nehru was put in prison, Motilal Nehru couldn't sleep. Obviously, his son was in prison. That was the first time I am told that Jawaharlal Nehru was going to prison. So he was very unsettled. He was very restless. He was walking around in the night. He was absolutely restless, and he decided to just check on what is Mahatma Gandhi doing. Mere bacche ko jail mein bech ke. What is he doing? And when he went near Mahatma Gandhi's room, the door was open. He saw Mahatma Gandhi lying on the floor. He saw Mahatma Gandhi lying on the floor. He wondered, itna acha bed hai, why is he lying on the floor? Why is this man lying down? Without anything, no this thing and all. He just plain with one linen cloth, he was lying on the floor. Motilal Nehru decided to talk to Mahatma Gandhi. He went up to Mahatma Gandhi, called him and said, sir, why are you lying on the floor? Bed hai na? So he said, you know what, Motilal ji? He said, my Jawahar is lying on the floor in the jail cell. He said, Dil nahi maan raha hai. My heart is not allowing me to lie on that bed. And that is why I am lying on the floor. And that minute, they say, that Motilal Nehru understood why Jawaharlal Nehru chose this man to be his mentor, and why Jawaharlal Nehru is following this man. This is the story I heard. The next story I want to talk about, like I said, is not a story, it's a myth. Sarojini Naidu was a person who admired Mahatma Gandhi. There is a statement that people say Sarojini Naidu made, where she said that it costs a lot of money to keep Gandhiji poor. This is what people say. And people say, Sarojini Naidu had said this because, end of the day, Gandhiji showed off that he's poor and all that. He lived a very lavish life. I have a lot of people who even wrote in my Facebook page that, Mahatma Gandhi used to live in palaces and bungalows and all of that. This statement is misquoted. Definitely Sarojini Naidu said this, and there is no doubt about it. And you know what? Sarojini Naidu said this to Mahatma Gandhi himself. She didn't go out and say it in a press conference or something. She said this to Mahatma Gandhi himself. She said, it takes more money to make you poor. And you know why she said that? She said that is because Mahatma Gandhi used to live in his ashrams. Most of the time he would live in his ashram, unlike the myth that he would live in Birla House and other palaces and all that. Most of the time he would spend in his ashrams. Now, a lot of leaders, a lot of freedom fighters, a lot of leaders would want to meet him, and therefore they had to travel a long distance to come and meet Mahatma Gandhi, especially Sarojini Naidu herself. She had to travel long distance, catch trains and hire cars and all to come and meet Mahatma Gandhi, to come to his ashram. And that is precisely why she said that because to keep you poor, we have to spend a lot of money, because we have to come all the way to you, no? So we have to spend a lot of money, and that's precisely what she said. She didn't say that, he was spending money, or, there are myths that his goat was, they were to spend 10 rupees per month on the goat that he had in his ashram because he would only drink goat milk and all that. A lot of those are myths. The next person I want to talk to you about is another great human being, and who was a former Prime Minister of India called Lal Bahadur Shastri. A fabulous human being. And people like these, they don't exist anymore. They don't exist anymore. I'll tell you two stories about Lal Bahadur Shastri. Lal Bahadur Shastri, when he was a Home Minister, he was traveling from Calcutta to Delhi. He was coming back to Delhi from Calcutta. Now, what happened was his meeting got delayed. And it was more or less clear that he will not reach the airport on time because it was rush hours. It was evening hours, rush hours in Calcutta. It was very clear that he will not reach the airport on time. So the police commissioner of Calcutta those days said that, listen, you know what, sir, don't worry. I'll give you a pilot car which will have, those sirens like normally the ministers travel nowadays. He said, I will give you a pilot car that will ensure that, you will clear the traffic and your car can zip through and reach the airport on time. So don't worry. Don't worry. Lal Bahadur Shastri said no. Says, I don't want all that pilot car and all. I don't want a siren wire and all that. He said, kya hoga? Late hoga na? He said, kya hoga? Flight will take off. He said, theek hai. If flight takes off, flight takes off. What can I do? But he said, I will not allow a pilot car. I will not allow a siren to go in front of me, because I don't want to make the people of Calcutta feel that there's some important person roaming around in the street. It's because I am not important. I am there to serve them. They are important to me. I am not important to them. And, yesterday when I was actually traveling and I saw this two cars in the front with all that light going on and some minister traveling behind, and then two car in the behind with lights going on and all of that, I was wondering, I thought in today's editorial, I have to tell you this story. And one more thing about Lal Bahadur Shastri's car. Lal Bahadur Shastri, when he was the Prime Minister, he had nothing. He had no worldly possessions much. He had no house, no buildings, no land and nothing. So a lot of people told him, "Hey, you're a Prime Minister. But tomorrow, when you go around, what are you going to take? Auto rickshaw and go? You need a car." People said, once you are not a Prime Minister, your government car will go, no? So you require something to go around. You can't just walk or take a rickshaw or take a bus and go. So you need a car. So he finally said, "Theek hai yaar, I will buy a car." I said, I'll buy a car, and he had 7,000 rupees in his bank at that point in time. 7,000 rupees he had in his bank, and he went to the car shop. He went to buy a Fiat. Those old Fiat, the Italian Fiat. He went to buy a Fiat, and he went to the Fiat shop, and the Fiat guy said that, "Baba, car cost 12,000 rupees. He had only 5,000 rupees. He had only 7,000 rupees. My apologies." So what he did is he went to Punjab National Bank. And in Punjab National Bank, he asked for a loan. He applied. He showed his salary slip, everything. Prime Minister of India. He applied and he asked for a loan. Punjab National Bank, 12 hours loan sanctioned. He called the person who sanctioned the loan from Punjab National Bank and said, "Bhaiya, is it for me that you sanctioned in this 12 hours, 24 hours, or does everybody get this kind of service?" Anyway, he got 5,000 rupees sanctioned. 5,000 rupees he bought a car worth 12,000 rupees. The photograph of the car is still there. The photograph is there on your screen. This is the car he bought for 12,000 rupees. Now, unfortunately, very shortly after buying this car, he passed away in Russia. And you know what? Punjab National Bank recovered the 5,000 rupees, or his family also ensured that Punjab National Bank was given the money. 5,000 rupees was repaid by Mrs. Lalita Shastri, his widow. You know, and those days, like I said, he didn't have worldly possessions. He didn't have big flat or big land or big bungalow and all that he could sell, or some big, huge bank balance that a lot of current politicians have. He had nothing. So she gave that 5,000 little money from the family pension that he got. That was Lal Bahadur Shastri. Now I will tell you about my last great leader of India, and she is Leela Nag or Leela Roy. Leela Nag was born in 1900. And in 1921, at the age of 21, she graduated from Dhaka University. Young girl. This young girl of 21 in 1923, when she was 23, I'm sorry, this young girl of 23 started a rebel group called the Dipali Sangha. Dipali Sangha was a rebel group that was fighting for the independence of India. She started this group, 23-year-old. And in 1931, she started a magazine called Jayashri. You know why Jayashri is important? Jayashri is important because Jayashri was the only magazine that was a all-women magazine. It was a magazine that spoke about freedom, that spoke about independence, that spoke about it was a rebellion magazine, and it was an all-women magazine. Only women wrote in that magazine. It was a first all-women magazine, 1931. She was just 31-year-old. Like I said, Subhash Chandra Bose spotted her and she joined. She was in the Congress. She was given positions in the Congress when Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose was the president of Congress. And later on, she joined the Forward Bloc, the All India Forward Bloc. She joined, which was headed by Subhash Chandra Bose. She and her husband, that is when Leela Nag became Leela Roy, she and her husband joined the Forward Bloc. She participated in the civil disobedience movement in 1938. This 38-year-old lady was jailed. She was jailed for 6 years. She was in jail for 6 years, and when she came out, in 1946, that is, when she came out, she became the first woman member of the Constituent Assembly of India. She was the first woman member in 1946. This was Leela Nag. A lot is not spoken about her, nor is it told about her, but the sacrifices she gave for her country right from the age of 21 is commendable. Commendable. And what a lady. You know, at times, when you think about all these great people of India, all these great leaders of India, one wonders, have we degenerated as a country? Think about it. Think about it. Have we degenerated as a country? Have we lost principles? Have we lost our character as a country? That's the thought I leave behind this pious day, October 2nd. Will I see you next time? Namaskar.